brought to you by LaglessGG. Get 35% off your first purchase by using code GeyserMC or click the link below. You know, when Bedrock was first announced, many people saw it as the end of Java Edition, but also a much needed rewrite of the Minecraft Java code, with a new server implementation that also allowed for so-called packs to be installed like plugins. And then I got this comment from a Bedrock player on my Testing Every Server host asking if I could do the same thing but for Bedrock servers. And I thought, you know what, let's give it a shot. However, it seems most servers are still Java. Do people just not play Bedrock Edition? Well, no, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't get that comment. And if their sales number are to be believed, they are making literal millions of their mobile port alone. So what gives? Why is nobody using the Bedrock server to play Bedrock? Is the vanilla Bedrock server that bad? And why does everybody use Paper, a Java server, to play Bedrock instead? Well, today, my friends, let us cast aside the useless Bedrock versus Java debate and dive in the odd realm of Bedrock players not using Bedrock servers to play. So today it's important to go over two main options of how Bedrock players can get servers to play on: the standard Bedrock dedicated server and a PaperMC plus GeyserMC implementation. I'll be showing you how to set up both while listing the benefits and negatives as we go along. But before we get started, however, I decided to gather some information about Bedrock servers. For example, did you know that your purchased marketplace content does not transfer to your dedicated server without some form of a roundabout way of doing it? Yeah, it's nuts. While Realms do have this feature built in, the standalone dedicated server for free does not support it officially. But maybe there is no real pressure for Mojang to do this, as Bedrock servers only make up a single-digit percentage in most hosts I talked about, with Lagless reporting only 4 in the 100 Minecraft servers are Bedrock, and Ultra servers reporting further that on their 400 plus Minecraft servers, there are only 5 Bedrock servers. SU hosting doesn't even support it and has never had the request for having it. Now, with this in mind, let us proceed. To set up both servers, I will first install the Bedrock server on my home PC, and then I will be using Lagless.gg's Ryzen 4GB server to set up the Java and Geyser implementation. Since I'm affiliated with Lagless, I won't be touching on their stuff too much. Just know that you can support my work by using code CygnisMC for 35% of your first month. Shilling over, I started with first getting the server ready. This is easily done with a few steps. Firstly, head on over to the Mojang website and download the Bedrock dedicated server. Unzip this file into an empty folder and donezo. Just start port forwarding when you're ready to go, basically. Now, the PaperMC server will require a little bit more setup. We first will need PaperMC, and then we'll need a software called GeyserMC. This allows Bedrock players to connect to your Java/Paper setup, and now even has mod support. Though we'll come back to that in a little bit later. Getting this set up can be a little bit of a hassle, but if you have a hosting provider with a templates feature, it usually has a Geyser/PaperMC template ready to set up. If not, all you do is install the latest version of PaperMC you want to use, accept the EULA, and then when it boots up, then drag the Geyser plugin into your plugins folder and boot it back up. Keep in mind you will need to have an additional port open on your host or on your computer for port 19132, in addition to the standard Java port of 25565, as this is the port Bedrock players use to connect. And keep in mind that it will ask you to verify your account for some reason when you try to join a server, but I digress. So far, configuration wise, base Bedrock wins over the Paper Geyser setup. However, it's time to leave them completely in the dust. When it comes to customizability, the Paper Geyser setup wins out. And hard. They win hard with not only ease of access, but also just usability. You get access to everything that makes a great server. Essentials, basically TPA, luck perms, din map, MCMO, claims, world edit. The world is your oyster, and all you need to do is drag the plugins into your plugin folder. You know what you need to do on Bedrock to get custom stuff working? You need to download a random file, export it to your computer in a folder, move to that corresponding add-ons folder, then enable it by creating a file that links the UUID in addition to the version number that it's made for, and then, only then, if you've done it right, it might work correctly. And yes, the argument could be made, and it's a valid argument, that configuring every plugin on the paper server can take just as long, if not longer, but the fact remains that the amount of customizability on a paper Geyser server remains absolute. Not to mention that you can have both Java and Bedrock players on the same server, but that doesn't mean it's not without its drawbacks. Geyser throughout the years has suffered from numerous issues and drawbacks. The biggest one was last year being a vulnerability in their library which they used, which made it incredibly easy to use Geyser proxies as a target for DDoSing, hitting a lot of hosts off guard and causing a lot of downtime as they scrambled to get their nodes back up. This truly was the great dying within summer hosts. Unfortunately, they keep on coming, however. And not to mention that in an ideal circumstance, the GeyserMC plugin wants to be used in a proxy like Velocity. But to sum it all up, Bedrock is truly simple to get running with some amazing add-ons like Better on Bedrock that is truly showcasing the extent these developers can push that game. It is ultimately limited in its capability. While it has a leg up on the vanilla server implementation, in terms of actually allowing custom content on it, it doesn't hold a candle to the giant toolbox that is PaperMC, which again has the biggest strong part of not only allowing Java players, but also Bedrock players. And again, it has its drawbacks, right? It's another thing you need to maintain. Ideally, it needs a proxy, like I mentioned before. But perhaps the biggest downside with GeyserMC is that your Bedrock players might sometimes feel like a second-class citizens, as some things will never be resolved by Geyser because they're just so different. Some basic stuff like setting apart right click from left click or even clicking links in a chat, that will never be resolved by GeyserMC, so it might cause some issues. But I still come away feeling that the Java-based server wins out in everything except maybe performance under load with a lot of players. But let me know what you actually think in the comments. For now, let's get to some sort of a conclusion. So should you use laggy Java with a plugin or a buggy Bedrock server? At the end of the day, with such a low market share in the hosting scene, I struggle to really care about the vanilla Bedrock experience. And let's be real here, if we just take the standard Java server versus a standard Bedrock one, it's about the same amount of effort setting up and the amount of stuff in there. But again, who wants a Bedrock server, right? A thing I didn't mention is that you can literally play with friends on your world by just inviting them for free, or hell, pay Mojang $8 a month for a Realm subscription and you even get your marketplace things, right? And we haven't really touched upon the third-party implementations for Bedrock like Nugget, but for literally free, you can set up your own paper server with Geyser support, still have Bedrock players and Java players gaming together like the utopia we deserve. And while it's not perfect, and does require some knowledge to set up, I believe products like Geyser can absolutely work in a vanilla SMP without issues. And I still commend Mojang for actually trying to customize the Bedrock server. But with that being said, I was Lunar, you are very awesome, and I will see you next time. Alright, thank you again everyone who was watching. Thank you to my Pebbles, thank you to my Patreon supporters. If you didn't know, I have a Patreon, $1 a month, will give you access to 20 interviews with different developers, different people in the space, even game developers. And if you're a Pebble member, you get early access on the Discord and also on the channel. Once again, I do want to mention that I am now sponsored with Lagless. I don't have any bad words to say about my previous sponsor, GG Servers. It's just, I moved on, basically. If you want to try it out, we have a community server. You can access it on the Discord, and you can check out if their server is actually good, because we're running like 100 or 200 mods on the server. So try it out, see if you like it. If you don't use it, you know? Alright, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.